Oh, that was interesting. I've never heard it say that before. Okay, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to grab our block and we're going to start down on the floor. So I'm going to use a firmer block today, but you can use your cork block, you can use a soft block, whatever feels better for you. And we're going to start with this under that arm. So go to your left side, and I want you to be just a little bit below the armpit so that you're more on the ribs. So if I put my hand at the crease of my armpit here, I'd probably be right around where my pinky is, and that's where the block's going to go. So maybe right on the broad band there. And then just have enough room behind you that you can kind of lean back and forward. So I'm not really rolling too far forward. If I've got like a headlight in the middle of my chest, it's going to point straight ahead and maybe just slightly angle down. And then as the movement progresses, I'm going to rotate back, and maybe that light's going to shine up towards the ceiling or the corner of the wall and the ceiling come together. Right, so not too huge of a movement, but there should be some feedback there from the connection of the block to the ribs. And you can always adjust. You can always go a little up, a little down, and just give me maybe a couple more back and forth. Good, and just starting to take some deep breaths, starting to drop in so that you're really paying some attention to the messaging that you get from your body here. So trying to let whatever to-do list you've got going in your head kind of go. And focus into this sensation of the block pressing it into the muscles around the ribs. Last one. Good. Now we're going to angle this to kind of press into the webbing here between the arm and the chest. So I'm going to just take the block and turn it a little bit up towards the right corner of my mat. And then come on the forearm, and now I will have my breast on one side of the block, my arm on the other, and now it's kind of crossing and just tagging right at that armpit web there. And a little bit of the block is hitting maybe the front side of my arm bone, and the other side of the block is hitting a little bit of the front of my ribs. Now I'm just going to try to relax my head here and just take maybe 3 or 4 breaths. Just letting the arm relax, trying to let the compression kind of sink up into the muscle. And see if your breath can make sure that you're not tensing up and resisting that pressure. Good, one more big inhale and exhale here. Let's go ahead and come on up, and we'll just take it right to the other side. So, if you want to take a moment to just test the difference from left to right, I always think there's a pretty significant sensation of change. All right, so now we're on the right side. Block is going to be perpendicular to the body here. And I'm going to go ahead and rest down. Again, I'm just maybe about a hand's width distance from the crease of that armpit, so that I'm a little more on my ribs and just right around where maybe your sports bra strap is. You men can imagine if there's any men watching. All right, we're going to go forward and back, little angles here. Just leaning back to hit that kind of 45-degree angle with the chest, and then back forward, passing through to maybe angle slightly down. Oof, this side's a lot more tender for me. So I'm going to try to just breathe through this. But if it's too intense, you can always put a little blanket on top of the block. And if you find a spot that you just want to sit and breathe in, you can just take a couple of breaths. There's something kind of intense in there. We don't really need to spend too much time thinking why there's tension, but just noticing from left to right any differences. Maybe just a couple more here. And again, if stillness is more beneficial, then you can always just stay still. We're just gonna work to open up the whole shoulder carriage and the upper back and the chest right now. So that when we move, we've got a little bit more mobility there. All right. Now we're gonna press into the hands and just angle that block slightly up towards the left corner of your mat. And I'm rotating my chest to the floor so that, again, that webbing of the armpit here, this kind of piece that goes from chest to arm, can kind of rest on top of the block. And then I want to feel like I'm angling my chest towards the floor. I've got my breast on one side and my arm on the other, so try to make sure that you're not squishing anything here that doesn't want to be squished. We'll just take maybe 2 or 3 big breaths here. Trying to relax on those exhales. Scanning the body, checking for any tension or gripping. Let it go. Last big inhale and exhale. Good. Slowly press up. So hopefully you found a place that feels productive and not just painful, right? There should feel this kind of sensation of compression, but that also feels like it's maybe giving some release. Okay, so now that block is going to go, again, the long side of the block is going to go perpendicular to the body, to the spine, and I'm going to try to rest my shoulders on the block now. So come down carefully, rest those shoulder blades on the block, and I usually just move my arms to tap the base of the shoulder blades. It should feel like they can move. You might have to adjust once you get here. And then I'm going to just let my low back kind of hammock towards the floor, belly's engaged. So I feel like I can keep my low back kind of stationary. Elbows are going to go wide, and I'm going to press my head back into my hands and let my upper back kind of curve over the block, letting the elbows be nice and wide. Try not to let yourself arch too much in the low back. And then you're going to exhale and curl yourself up. Just starting to turn on the abs here. Inhale, taking the upper body over that block. And exhale, come up. So trying to isolate this in the upper back, right? I want you to really try to feel like you're getting some reversal of the curvature of the upper back. We're trying to kind of fight against that gravitational pull forward, that rounding of the spine. And it's easy for the low back to want to do the majority of the bending here. So that's why we want to really try to keep it nice and still in the low back and see if we can make this mostly moving the upper back and shoulders. Give me just 2 more with the elbows nice and wide. It may not look like a huge range of motion, but it should feel pretty expansive when you come back. There should be some resistance. Let's go, last one. Inhaling back. Exhaling up. Now, bring those elbows in close towards your face. Same thing, we're just going to take those elbows up the wall, up the ceiling, back towards the wall behind us, and exhale up. Now, if your front ribs are really flaring out as you go back, that's okay to keep a little bit of a flare, but try not to let them completely let go. Keep a little bit of hugging in of those front ribs. Again, just trying to make sure that we're not having the illusion of getting a back bend in the upper back because we're really just bending through the whole spine. I want to try to really isolate this. Let's go just 2 more, up and back. Inhale up. And then exhale, crunch. 1 more. Inhale, up and back. Head is heavy in the hands. Exhale up and forward. Good. All right, go ahead and remove that block. Lie down flat on the floor. It should feel like you've got some pretty heavy contact in the shoulders. We're going to do a couple little bridges here. So feet are about hip distance apart. We're going to tuck that tail, peel yourself all the way up onto the shoulders. Inhale, take those arms overhead. Exhale, roll the spine all the way down, one vertebra at a time. Upper back comes down, mid back, low back, tailbone, and then those arms come down. We'll do it again. Exhale, peel your spine all the way up. Inhale, arms come up and back. Exhale, roll the spine back down. Really try to articulate. Then inhale, arms come down. So as you go up, I want you to feel like your tail's the first thing to leave, then the low back, mid back, upper back. And then inhale those arms up and back. And then the same thing on the way down. Can you get your upper back down, then your mid back, and before your tail hits, get that low back, deep draw the belly in, then the tail, then the arms. So one more. A lot of times people use this imagery of the string of pearls, right? You have a string of pearls, you're peeling them up one pearl at a time, the pearl being your spine, your vertebrae. And then inhale, arms up. And then exhale, tuck that tail through. Really try to get one vertebra down at a time. Good, last one. Arms come all the way down by your side. Keep that bridge. And now from here, we're just gonna lift your hips and lower. Just starting to wake up the glutes a little bit here. I want you to try to press up from that connection at the hamstring and the glute. Here we go for 8. Press down into the feet. 7, I want you to feel all 4 points of contact on each foot. So make sure the big toe has some weight there. Let's go for 5, 4. There's a little tilt of that pubic bone in towards your belly button at the top here. Last one, hold it up. You're just gonna squeeze your knees together to tap, and then release them back to parallel. Squeeze them together, tap, parallel. Hold the hips up. Again, kind of taking that little tail tucked through your legs. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take those legs back to parallel. We're just gonna dip hips to the right, pick it up, dip hip to the left, pick it up. Right, squeeze the cheek, left, squeeze the cheek. Here's 8, 7, 6, just alternating side to side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1. Now you're gonna just walk your feet out to a turnout. So now your heels can be probably the width of your mat. Your toes are turned out. Your knees are going over the second toe. You're gonna tap the hips down, squeeze the hips up. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. Here's the knees just pressing out wide and back to their turnout. Press them a little wider. I want you to feel those outer hips and glutes kind of turn on as you press those hips out. Keep that pubic bone hugging in towards your belly button, so you're really tilting your tail up. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna pick up your toes, so you're on your heels. You're gonna pivot those knees in and out. In and out. So if you can, you're gonna rotate the knees almost all the way to tap. Can you bring them together and all the way back out wide? Together, back out wide. Here's 7, 6, 5. Your yoga mat might be an issue here. 4. So just do the best you can. 3, 2, last one. Good job. Slow roll all the way down. Take that right knee into the chest and take the left leg nice and straight. And then we're gonna bring that knee over the body. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. Just come into the simple twist here. Give yourself a nice big breath into that right lung. Good, back through center. And we're gonna take that left knee in, right leg goes straight. Good, and then we're gonna take it across the body. Left shoulder's gonna stay on the floor. And again, I'm gonna take a nice big breath now into that left lung. Goal is to really move the ribs with your breath. okay? One more. So I want you to feel that, not just coming into your belly, but expanding the side and the back of the ribs. Good, come back to center. Place those feet back on the floor. Take it back about 3/4 length bend. Hands are gonna come behind the head. Exhale, just peel the head and shoulders up. And then here we just are going for little lifts, okay? I want you to look down at your belly as you're doing these lifts of your shoulders. And I want you to feel like your ribs are drawing in towards each other and towards your pelvis. So the front of the hip bone and the bottom of your rib are crunching in towards each other. And then I want you to try to make sure that this belly is pressing down flat towards the spine. Okay, so we're trying to get this feeling of everything hugging in rather than cooching out. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold those shoulders up. Hinge to the right and the left. So just little side crunches here. We're not rotating as much as we're side bending. And I want to try to keep those shoulder blades hovering off the ground the best you can. So let's go for 6, 5, 4. Relax your head into your hands. 3, 2, 1, and 1. Go ahead and pick those legs up into tabletop here. We're going to bicycle. Go opposite elbow, opposite knee. Switch, switch, switch. Here's 8, 7. Keep hugging that belly down. 6. Press it into your spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take those legs straight. Same thing. We're going to turn towards the straight leg at the top and switch it to the other side. Here's 9. Those legs only have to go as low as you can keep your back on the floor. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. Lay your head and shoulders down, arms down by your side. Lower those legs straight down to hover. Bend your knees in towards your chest and take them straight up. So we're making this nice big circle, but this circle might look different for you, okay? I want you to try to maintain those bottom ribs and that low back on the ground. And if you're feeling like everything's pulling up, like your shoulders are pulling up, your jaw's clenching, then maybe it's too low. So don't go quite so low. Just make these circles in a way that tense up and tone your belly, but not your upper back and jaw. Let's go for 4. I want you to feel the low belly here. 3, 2, trying to hold the spine nice and still. Last one this direction, and then we're going to reverse it. Last set. Take it out low, pick it straight up. Knees bend in, take it out low, and up. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, last 4, almost there. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good job. Go ahead and bend those knees. Take the legs out to almost straight. Inhale, arms up overhead. Give it that big stretch. And then exhale, arms come up. Roll yourself all the way up. You can straighten out the legs here. And we just reach past the toes. Inhale, stack the spine. We're only going to go halfway back here. You're going to exhale, tuck the tail, roll back. Inhale, sit it up, and reach it forward past your toes. Now you can inhale, sit up. Exhale, roll it half back. If you want to pause here, we'll take the arms over the ears, back down. Then we're going to come forward with a flat back and try to reach past the toes. Just 3 more. Tuck the tail, roll back. Arms can stay there, or they can float up to the ears. Down, sit up tall, hinge forward, reach for the toes. 2 more. Tuck the tail, roll back. Maybe the arms inhale up, down, sit up tall, reach past the toes. One more. Up and reach. Now just grab somewhere on your ankles. You can soften your knees and just let your head hang as you round over your legs. Take a breath or two here. Let your chin just drop in towards your chest. Maybe take one more inhale, exhale. Now cross your right leg in front of your left, right? Just so that your ankles are not crossed back, but just kind of parallel in front of each other. And then we're gonna turn your body over that left knee. So you got right leg in front, turning your body to the left knee, and we're gonna walk ourselves out to bow over that left knee. Make your right sit bone nice and heavy on the floor here. Take a couple breaths. One more inhale. And exhale. Good, now just walk your left hand over to the side if it's not already there as a little kickstand, and just open that right shoulder back for this big side bend. Right sit bone heavy. Give you one more big inhale and exhale. Good, and then come on up. And we'll switch the legs. Left leg in front. Turn your chest over that right thigh, right knee, and we're gonna walk your hands out. So you're staying on that diagonal, walking that left hand maybe even out a little farther. Try to get that left sit bone back down on the floor. Take another breath in here. Maybe just one more. Good, and walk that right hand a little more to the side if it's not already there. Left arm's gonna just open that chest up to the side of the room. Take a big breath. And come on up, inhale. Whew, okay, those are some big stretches on the sides. Let's come on to all fours. Give me a couple of cat and cows here. Exhale, round as you press into the hands. And then inhale and lengthen the chest and the sit bones back. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. One more. And inhale, lift. All right, so here we're gonna just round your spine enough that you feel this low belly firing up and drawing towards your spine. Tuck your toes under. Your knees are right under your hips, and we're just gonna hover those shins so they're parallel to the floor. We're tapping the floor with the knees, picking them up to parallel. Tap, hover. Tap and hover. Tap, hover. Good. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5. If you need to do these on your forearms, you can. Here's 3, 2. Hold it up. Squeeze the knees together. Make them parallel. Squeeze knees together, parallel. So we're hovering here. Just turn on those thighs. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the knees together. Little pulses up and down. Just little pulses here for 10, 9. Squeeze those thighs. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to parallel. Step the right foot back, left foot back. Hinge yourself back from the shoulders down. Going forward and back. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it back. Hips over your heels. Here's your little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightens the legs. Pedal the feet, down dog. You should have felt that in the quads there, in the front of the thigh. And switch the heel drop. Remember, you're pushing your hands down and forward and then turning those triceps towards the floor. So I'm gonna feel like my bicep or the front of my arm is kind of turning towards my thumbs. And switch the feet, maybe one more round of that. So we're trying to get some of the weight back into the legs so it's not all in your arms. One more switch. Let's take that right leg and inhale it up and back. Really reach back to that right leg so you can let that left heel drop. Good. Exhale, shift it forward into your plank. Just take that right knee into the chest and send it back. Stay in the plank. Right knee in the chest, send it back. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Pull your belly away from the thigh. Hold it forward, little pulse forward, forward, forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step that right foot lightly in between the hands. Wiggle the left toes back and just rest that left foot down. We're gonna move the right foot out just a smidge so you can bring both hands to the inside of the foot. Okay, so the hips are dropping towards the floor. I want this expansion in the front of the left hip. I want the right hip to maybe get a little stretch in the back. And just take a breath here. Now, your right foot, I want you to keep all the length in your ankle, but can you just let the knee fall out so that you fall to the outer edge of your right foot? So the right knee is just gonna lean to the right a little bit, and the foot's gonna peel up to the outer edge so that you're not slipping through the ankle here. You keep both sides of the ankle nice and long. Give me just another breath or two here. Good, now bring that right foot back on the floor. You can turn it a little to the right if you need to angle it out, and then keep your left hand on the ground, and maybe you can bend that left knee in, that heel in towards your butt. And if you can reach back and grab it with the right hand, go ahead. I want to just really open up the front quad here on that left leg. Give me just maybe 2 more breaths. 1 more, full inhale, exhale. Good. Release that foot. Wiggle the right foot back into center. And then we're going to just walk yourself back enough that you can slide your right foot in and come up so that you've got that nice 90-degree bend at the knees. Right hand on the hip, left arm up to the ear. And we're just going to side bend over to the right. So pull the ribs in, pull the pubic bone up, flatten out the front side of the body, lengthen out the low back here. Okay, so I don't want to see any of this. I don't want you arching, I want you to hold back. Take 1 more big breath here. Inhale. Really deepen that pelvic tuck here. All right, come back up. Toes are tucked, hands come to the heart. You're gonna just press down into the feet to hover that left knee. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna just keep this engagement here where I'm pulling these 2 front hip bones back up and towards my spine, and I'm gonna try to straighten my left knee, and then I'm gonna pull it forward and bend, and maybe feel like I'm pulling my belly button back through my spine. Then I'm gonna let go just a little bit to reach that left heel back, and then I'm gonna pull it forward and pull the spine back, pull the belly button back. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, it's small, but there is this tilt of my tail that's happening with this lengthening and then this soft bending of the knees. Arms come up, so keep that movement you got going in the leg. Now as you lengthen back, arms reach to the ceiling, and as you bend the knee, pull those elbows down like they're gonna touch behind you. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, pull and open the chest. I want you to feel like you're lifting your sternum as though your shoulder blades are like a little shelf, lifting your chest up as they glide together. Good, let's just go for 6. Inhale up. 5. Inhale up. 4. Inhale up. 3. 2 more. Last one. Good. All right, interlace those hands behind you. Bring the palms all the way together, elbows hug in and open up the chest. If the arms aren't straight, no big deal. Keep them bent, but bring the palms and wrists towards each other. And again, roll the shoulders back so your chest is open. We're gonna lean forward over that right thigh. And then I want you to pick up that left foot. We're gonna do our warrior three, holding the hands here. Give me just a couple of breaths. Just lengthening out, holding, picking the hands up away from your hips. Give me 3. Relax your neck. 2. 1. Slowly step that right foot to the back of the mat. Turn yourself into warrior 2. Right knee over the second toe. Left toes are kind of turned in. And we're going to bring those hands onto that right hip. So I've still got the fingers interlaced, but now I'm just going to bring it to the right hip here. And then I'm going to take my right ear and drop it towards my right shoulder. Get lower in the hips. Turn on the legs. And you can make little movements with the head if that feels good. Chin can drop towards your chest. It can lean away from the chest. Just take maybe just 1 or 2 more breaths. Get lower in the legs. Turn them on. Good. Head back up. Just switch the hands. Taking that right hand to the left hip now. Left ear, left shoulder. So your head's going towards the bent elbow. Get a little lower in those legs. So just a nice isometric hold here in the legs. I want that right knee pressing back towards your pinky toe and that right sit bone wrapping underneath. Give me just 2 more breaths here. Last one. Good. Come all the way straight with that right leg. Bring your head all the way back to center. And then from here, you might want to walk this left foot in just enough that you're shortening that stride. Okay, hands are still bound together behind you. You're going to open those shoulders if they're kind of collapsing in. And then we're going to hinge at that right hip. So I'm going to try to keep my right leg pretty straight. I'm hinging over towards that right thigh. I'm trying to stay kind of in the line of my legs. So not leaning forward, not leaning back. Hands are going to press away from my hips. And I'm trying to open the chest, but I feel the side body having to turn on here. Press down into your feet. 1 more breath with the hands bound. Good, and then release the hands. Right hand can come onto your shin, and that left arm is going to sweep over your ear, but I want you to keep that length on both sides of your ribs here, okay? Keep reaching the top of your head towards your toes. Take another inhale. Feel that stretch. I'm going to lengthen through the fingertips all the way to that left hip. Good. Come up maybe about halfway so that you feel more like a straight line from your heel to the fingers. Maybe the right hand can come up to hold for just 3, 2, 1, all the way up. Good job. All right. Hands are going to come to your heart and you're just going to pivot and turn your whole body back forward. So now I've got my legs in their own lane, right? I want you to feel like you've got your feet not right in one tightrope. They're feeling like they're both on their own lane. Hips turn forward. And you can keep your hands on your hips as we start to hinge forward over that right thigh. And we're going to just pause when you feel pretty parallel to the floor with your spine. Okay, now right hip is hugging back, left hip is hugging forward. The headlights on our hips are pointing forward or down. And then we're just going to take those arms out wide like a T. I want you to keep those arms lifting at the elbows. You can always soften the right knee if you need to. And then sweep those arms forward towards your ears, back towards your hips. Try to keep those arms up in line with your spine. Make sure you're not back bending here. You can always soften that right knee if you need to. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good, those hands can come at your heart. You're gonna start to fold over the right thigh, push down into the feet. And when you can, your hands can release to the ground. Again, you can always soften the right knee. but I want to feel like I'm bringing my nose towards my right shin. Give me just 2 big full breaths here. Good, bend the right knee, place the hands down, step back plank, look forward, lower to the knees. We got 10 push-ups here for chaturanga. So we're gonna bend the elbows back towards your ribs, press back up. Bend and press. Here we go, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the way to the belly. Take the legs back, let them hover from the inner thighs. Reach the hands back towards your feet. And then I want you to feel like you're gonna pick those pinkies up to the ceiling. And then I wanna take everything out a few inches and squeeze it back in the center. Out a few inches, squeeze it in. Make those shoulder blades hug together. Feel the triceps working here. I want you to work on these postural muscles in the upper back. Here we go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the feet come down. Bend those elbows. Squeeze them in like they're gonna tap behind you. And then reach them forward. Pull them in like they're gonna tap. Reach forward. Here's 8, 7, 6. Squeeze them in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come down, press back to the knees. Child's pose, 2 breaths, and then we're up to the other side. 1 more full inhale, exhale. Great, tuck your toes, come up, downward facing dog. Left leg's gonna inhale up and back. Really reach it back. Let the right heel get heavy on the floor. Press into your palms. All right, shift forward. Keep that left leg hovering. Now we're just gonna pull it into the belly and send it straight back. Pull it in and back. Here's 8, 7, lift your belly away from your thighs and pull it in. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, little pulse in, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lightly step it between the hands, wiggle those right toes back, let it down. Wiggle the left foot to the side, both hands on the inside of that left foot. Take a few breaths. One more inhale and exhale here. Good. Now just let the knee fall to the left as you kind of come onto the outer edge of the left foot. So I'm not really changing anything about the ankle. It's not going to go very far. I just want to feel a little bit of a different stretch here in that left leg. One more breath. Good. Bring that foot back onto the floor, and now you can just rotate that knee and toe towards that upper corner of the mat. You can stay here. You can start to bend the right knee and bring the heel in. And if it feels like you can access it, you're going to grab for the foot. Okay, we're just trying to sit here and open up the right hip. Yep, that's perfect. Let's take 2 more breaths. And 1 more nice full inhale and exhale. Really fill up the lungs. Good, release that foot back. Wiggle that left foot back into center. Send your hips back just enough that you can slide that left foot right under the knee. So when you come up, you've got this nice 90-degree bend in both legs. Left hand to the hip, right arm over the ear, and we're gonna side bend. So remember, I wanna really feel like I've got everything in the front side of the body supporting so that I don't have a big curvature in the lower back. Give me 1 more full inhale, exhale here. Come upright, hands to the heart, press down into the feet, just hover the shin. Okay, so we're coming into this kind of really deeply bent right knee crescent lunge. Okay, so here's where I want to try to let this pelvis slightly tilt forward as I reach the right heel way back. Then I'm going to pull my belly button through my spine, kind of curving the low back as I bring the knee forward. Right, so you can see the pelvis tilts forward a little bit, and then kind of tries to tilt back a little bit. So it should feel like there's a lot of work happening in that right thigh. You're using your belly to resist. All right, arms are going to go up to the ceiling. As you pull the knee forward, you're going to pull those elbows down and back behind you. And then as you inhale and extend the leg back, arms reach back up. Let's go for 8. Here's 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2 more. Here's 2. Last one. Good. Interlace the hands the weird way behind you, so the way that does not feel natural. Palms together, shoulders back, elbows hugging in towards each other. Hands are trying to hover away from your hips. You're going to hinge forward, and here we come into that warrior 3. So we're hovering over the ground. You can be as lean forward or lean back as you want. Okay, so you can even be way up here. It doesn't have to be so far forward. But if you're forward, pick that inner thigh up, pick those hands up, give me one more full inhale, exhale together. Okay, we're stepping into warrior 2. So step that right foot to the back of the mat as you open yourself to the side of the mat and return yourself around. Left knee is bent right over the second toe, right? Bring the hands around to that left hip. Good, and then we're gonna drop left ear towards left shoulder. Get a little lower in the legs, give me just 2 more breaths here. One more. Good, lower in the legs. Move the hands over to the right side. So now I've got that right hand elbow bent. I'm gonna lean my head to the right. And again, you can make little tilts of the head and the chin if it feels good. Get yourself nice and low for this isometric hold. Just 2 more breaths. Good, 1 more. Nice. Straighten into that left leg. You can release the hands back. Wiggle that right foot in just enough. Now I'm keeping my hands bound, so keep them bound behind you. Sorry, they're still bound. Yep, now we're gonna start to hinge over that left leg. So the left knee can be a little soft, but I want it pressed into the foot. And I want you to really think of hinging so that you keep that length through your ribs. Try to keep the hands moving away from your hips. Lean your shoulders back. Draw your belly in, tail towards your heels. 1 more breath. Good, now let go of the hands. Left hand can come onto the shin, and that right arm's gonna float up over the ear. Find that nice long lengthening. Now my hand's gonna just glide down towards my ankle so I can find even more stretch through this right side body the lower I go. But I'm not rounding, I'm staying long. Keep reaching through the fingertips, pressing into the back foot, rotating the right hip back. Good, now come up just enough that you feel like you can really hold yourself up with your core, and maybe the left arm comes up to meet the right. 1 last breath. Good, both hands can come down as you come all the way up. And now we're just gonna wiggle left foot out a little bit and turn your hips to the front. Now if you need to hop the right foot in, go ahead. We have like a shorter triangle here in the legs. Left hip's gonna pull back, right hip's gonna pull forward. So they are real square, okay? They look like they're pointing in the same direction. And then we're gonna hinge forward from the hips. So I want you to bring the hips with you, take your tail up and back. And once you feel like you're at that halfway point where you're about flat with the, parallel with the ground, pull the belly up, support your low back. Maybe those arms can reach forward and sweep back. Okay, if you need to modify with the arms or if the arms are too much, you can always just hold this position. Here we go, 8. But I want to try to keep those arms up so that we can really work on those upper back muscles. 7. Push down into your feet. 6. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward. Here's 4, release your neck. 3, just the arms. 2, 1. All right, take those hands down as you slowly fold over that left leg. Let your head drop towards the floor. Maybe your knee comes towards your shin or your nose goes towards your knee. Nose towards chin or knee is what I'm trying to say. Good. One more big inhale, exhale here. Good. Look forward, place the hands, step yourself back to the plank. Good. All right, last little set. Push-ups down to the knees if you want, or you can stay on your toes. Hands are wide for these, all the way down and up. Get those elbows over your wrists. Let your shoulder blades glide together as you come down. Here we go for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way to your belly. Right arm's gonna go off with a stretch. Press into the palm, roll onto your right side so you can keep your shoulder hovering on off the ground. Roll through center, left arm's gonna go out. Press into the palm so you can keep that shoulder elevated as you turn onto your left ribs. Good. Come back through center. Go ahead and press back to your hands and knees. And then I want you to take your right arm and thread it under the left and rest your right shoulder on the floor. Press into your left hand and see if you can get a little more twist. So not a lot of weight in your head. Should mostly be in your shoulder and your hand. And then press back up and we'll switch. Left arm threads the needle under that right arm. Resting your shoulder, maybe your ear on the floor. Pressing into this right hand to try to get a little deeper twist. Good. And then come back up. Tuck your toes under. See if you can sit back on your heels. We're just gonna balance for one last pose. So your thighs are squeezing together, you're on your toes. See if you can bring yourself upright. Maybe your hands can come off the floor. Thighs are squeezing, shoulders back. Give me 3, 2, 1. Good job. And you guys are all done. Great work.